try to slow down what Oklahoma is able to do offensively.
Yeah, I think for us, we can look at it as it starts with our offense. Shot selection, no live ball turnovers. If they're taking the ball to the net, it does slow them down a little bit. But they're going to play the way they play, and every game's a little different. But transition defense has always been stressed here, so we have to be organized. And what we try and tell them is, let's guard the front of their jerseys, not the back. And it's hard to simulate too in practice. That's the other thing. So we had yesterday off. Game plan goes in today, so we'll kind of see how it goes today.
Is that one of those times where you kind of need as much time as you, or maybe as much freshness to your body?
Yeah,
it's kind of a track meet.
Yeah, you have to be smart, and the Big 12 didn't do us any favors with the schedule for 2 weeks, because then we have to turn around and play Wednesday, and so it's not just Saturday; it's what comes next. So the scout team guys love it. I mean, this is a dream for them to get to play the way they play. But this time of year, it's we always talk about practice hard and practice fast, and this is the definition of it. And you got to get your work done in 30 to 40 minutes, and you have to be locked into it, and hopefully we are.
Were there any elements of your last win that you went back and looked at that you're like, this is something we can really build on that we haven't had as much of, but we need?
No, I thought, we kind of struggled, or I don't even think that's fair. It's not fair to West Virginia, but it was score was tied at halftime, and it's one of those times where we've got to decide how we're going to come out in the third quarter. And I thought, defensively we were really good in the second half. Offensively, we were more efficient and purposeful in where the ball was going. But I think that's every coach says the same thing in league games. You got to grind it out. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I was really proud of the way we played in the second half, and hopefully showed some growth as we get into the conference.
What makes Oklahoma so good offensively?
I think obviously their style is a little unique. The pace. Every coach wants to play with pace. Their pace is on steroids compared to most. And I think the other thing is they are very, very skilled, and they're very, very old. Robertson and Williams and Lanusa, it's probably what people think about Ash. When are they going to be gone? So I think it's the commitment to their pace. It's like when I was in the office after our game, and I was watching a little bit of the TCU men. It's like they're coming at you no matter what. They're not stopping, and that's what Oklahoma does. And they just keep doing it. And if they miss, they just keep shooting it. So, it's a unique style, but it comes down to the players. Very skilled and very mature, and they love to play in that system.
What do you make of their defense?
I think their defense it's not something that they're going to say, is the best defensive team in the country, but their defense improves because their offense puts so much pressure on you, because you have to keep scoring. And they're smart, they gamble. They're going to play some man, they're going to play some matchup zone. But I think their defensive philosophy is, we're going to make you earn some points. But again, the pressure they put on you offensively helps their defense. And they're not a team that's going to block a ton of shots, but they're going to get in gaps. And everyone talks about defensive averages, and I think one of the biggest analytics is part of the game, but one of the bigger stats is point differential. They give up 65, 70 points. Everybody's like, that's a lot of points. Well, they're scoring 90. So there's a lot of possessions in a game. So, we just got to be really smart. We've got to take better care of the ball than we have the last two games. And we're going to have to make some shots. We're going to see some zone, and 10 for 52 ain't going to cut it from the three-point line. So, we're going to get some looks, and we got to hopefully have a night that we make a couple. And hopefully the guys left some good karma for us when we get down there.
They get tired of us asking about that. The 3 points.
No.
But does it get to a point where you're just, because of track record, that can't last? Breakthrough is going to come.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened in the past where you have high.
Yeah, you hope so, and Ash's numbers are really good. M's numbers are really good. Steph's numbers are solid. It's just, the other group, with Nay and Lex and Nye and Maggie, it's just unfortunately those four are kind of off a little bit. So, that's the nature of the game, though. I mean, you shoot 33% from the three. Most people would say that's okay. Obviously we're slightly below that, but you walk a fine line if you say, well, you better not shoot it because you're not going to make it, kind of thing. But we're going to keep shooting it, and when that shot's available, and they've all made it a ton of times, and you just got to believe that it's going to happen. And we've had games where it has. It's just unfortunately when it's gone bad, it's gone really bad. We haven't had just those, 8 for 26 where everybody's like, it's not great, but it's okay. When we've been bad, it's been really depressing. So, and unfortunately, it's been back-to-back games. But the good news is we won both of them. So, hopefully that'll change.
Your team really feeds off like that big three going in the net and seeing that happen, and it seems like more makes come from that. Do you think a game where you're going to be stressed to shoot a lot is going to help that?
You hope so. I mean, I think in our game, obviously, we're not dunking the ball. So the play that excites, like Nye's three, I thought really impacted the game a lot the other night. It got the crowd in the game, and I always joke that, even the officials are excited. They throw their hands in the air and, whatever. I mean, that's the play in the women's game, especially for us and at Hilton, that really does fire up our team because it's something that we pride ourselves on, and especially in a game where you haven't made very many, when you see one go in, everybody's excited. So, yeah, I mean, it's part of the game, and you guys have covered millions of games, and I've sat through millions of games, and it's when the ball's going in the basket, everything's better, and we just got to keep working on it. Our kids work on it really hard. It's not like they're not trying, and no one wants to miss, but that's part of the game, and you got to have some mental toughness and keep shooting it.
When you have, it's a mark of, it seems like an elite player when Ashley, she struggles shooting that game, airball to three, or they ever see that. Yet she hits a big three during that run, too. She still gets a double-double despite that. And then you have Lexi not shooting the ball from three, great, but yet getting to the rack, getting a lot of points that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a sign of maturity, hopefully. And, if you're going to be defined as a basketball player by your three-point shot, you're not going to last. You're not going to survive. It's impossible. You want to be defined by I compete. I can do other things. That's the great thing about basketball is, you can go 0 for 5 from the three-point line, and you can have a big impact on the game. You can defend. You can rebound. You can pass the ball. You can screen. You can make a two. You can make a free throw. It's, you're not the place kicker. You're not a specialist. You're not the left-handed reliever that pitches to, well, now 3 guys. Used to be, I'm old enough where it's 1 guy. Those things just don't happen. So I think if you can get through that, and I think that's a big thing. That's a great point, is the kids that struggle with that are the ones that can't impact the game. And that's the great thing about basketball is you can impact the game in a lot of ways. And if you're going to live and die on the hill of, hey, I got to make a three or I'm not a good player, then you're not going to play. Not enough to impact the team. It's impossible.